We all want great health, right? Don't you want to be able to roll around on the floor with your kids and play and keep up with your buddies on the trail and dance and move and sing and feel free, right? We all desire health on some deeper level. It is what allows us to experience life and feel alive and live our purpose and thrive in our work. So, what does health mean to you? What is the experience that you want to be having in your body? Is it energy? Is it playfulness? Is it freedom? Is it movement? Is it dance? Is it sports? Is it being able to just have energy to do your day-to-day things? Is it being in creative flow state? What does it mean to you, and why do you want great health? Maybe just type in one word that comes to mind. When you start to think about health, what's one word that you would love to experience in your body, in your bones, in your cells? What would you like to feel first thing when you wake up in the morning? What is it that it means to you? What is it that you want to feel and experience and get to enjoy in this body, in this life? So I want to share with you a really beautiful, poetic definition of health that you may be unfamiliar with, because this is a 5,000 plus year old definition that truly redefines health as we know it today in our modern times, which is super special. So I'm an Ayurvedic health practitioner. I was trained in traditional Ayurveda, which is India's most ancient holistic medical system. It is actually one of arguably the oldest medical system on the planet, and it is not just a medical system, although it is where has its roots in OBGYN and surgery and pediatrics, and there's all different aspects of medicine that were dated back 5,000 years ago in Ayurveda and that are still practiced in some of the traditional hospitals and clinics today. But the wisdom of Ayurveda has been passed down for thousands and thousands of years. And 5,000 years ago is when we had our first records written of Ayurveda, but it is said that perhaps for 5,000 years before that, it was passed down in an oral tradition. And so you can kind of imagine, this for me invokes a beautiful image of this wise master teacher healer sitting under the tree with a handful of his disciples, or his or her disciples sitting at the foot of the tree, and they sing these sutras, which I have written on my board here for you. This is all in Sanskrit. And these sutras are like packed little nuggets of wisdom, and they were sung and shared and passed on from generation to generation for thousands of years until they were written down 5,000 years ago. And so these little sutras actually they're unlocked and unpacked, and they can be extrapolated upon, and wisdom can be gleaned from them for days and days, because each word in the Sanskrit language is just like a poetic, beautiful little nugget of gold. It just has so many different meanings, many of which we can't even translate into English. However, I'm going to translate a little bit for you today in this beautiful definition of health, because it really redefines not only what it means to have physical health, and we break down physical health in a way that in this definition that you may not have heard before, but it also breaks down the mental, emotional, spiritual side of health, which is often missing. And if you are anything like me and you have been or are on a path of seeking health and healing, for me, many years back, I was facing a life sentence of pharmaceuticals and pain. I couldn't find the answers, and I was just in debilitating discomfort every day. And this is what luckily set me on the path or trajectory to going to India to study Ayurveda, to study with enlightened master teachers and healers, and to dive really deep into this work and to study the Sanskrit language. And it is just my joy and my love to share it with you and when I was at that turning point in my life, not feeling health at all, nothing in this definition I think I was actually experiencing, I made a vow, if I find these answers, I am going to spread them to the world. I'm going to share them. And that was like my vow. And so here I am, and feeling vibrantly alive and at home in my body and peaceful in my body and in joy and bliss in this body, in this life. And I want to share with you a new definition of health, so that some of the words that you may have conjured up just thinking about health, you might add a few new words to your own personal definition and seeing what it means for you. So the sutra goes, Samadosha Samagnischa Samadhatu Malakriyaha Prasanatmindriya Manaha Svasta Ityabhidiyate. And what it means, gosh, it's just so beautiful. It makes me feel good just to sing it. And with many of my apprentices and enlightened body students, I break down the whole definition in the Sanskrit and how they can repeat it as a mantra. When I've run my Enlightened Body Live seminars and retreats, I like to teach people in it, teach it live, because you being able to experience it, to sing it, even just to hear it, it almost like you can feel your cells coming alive. It just is full of this rich energy just to hear it, just like any music that makes you feel good, makes you feel, but this is specific to health. So let's break it down real quick. So Samadosha, you heard me say the word Summa a few times. Samadosha, Samagnischa, Samadhatu Malakriyaha. Summa means harmony. It means essentially, I don't actually like to use the word balance. Some translate that to be balance, but I don't think that we are ever balanced, and I don't think that seeking balance is, I think seeking balance is an ideal that you'll never actually get, because everything is always in a dynamic harmony. We are always balancing, but never balanced, if that makes sense, that distinction. So Summa refers to this dynamic balance, this harmony that we get to have because our bodies are the macrocosm of the microcosm. I said it backwards. Are the microcosm to the macrocosm. So all of the intelligence and the fundamental building blocks of all of life, of all of the universe, are also within your human organism, the microcosm to that macrocosm, and the macrocosm of your whole organism is also to the microcosm of every cell in your body. So if you awaken that intelligence in part of your body and part of your cells, that translates to the whole of your organism. If you awaken that to your life, it translates into the health of your cells. So Summa is referring to Samadosha, Sama Agni, Samadhatu Mala Kriyaha. These are all referring to all of the elements of life, ether, air, fire, water, earth, from a theoretical kind of metaphorical standpoint. All of these elements make up your unique body, make up your unique constitution, and you experiencing harmony in your unique body type is part of the definition of health, what brings about health. Agni is your fire, your digestive fire. Essentially, you having health on the level of your gut, on the level of your metabolism, and also you properly digesting thoughts, feelings, emotions, sensory input. So things from the past, everything you think, everything you feel, this is all being digested through your digestive fire. So I can share so much more with you. Actually, if you go to my website, alicialyndiaz.com, and click on Gut Reset, there's a whole training specifically on this, having harmony in your gut and your balance in your belly so that you can optimize your digestion and this aspect of health. So Sama Dosha, Sama Agni, Sama Dhatu, Mala Kriyaha, these are all referring to the 7 bodily tissues, all the bodily processes and how your organs work integrated with one another. as well as your 3 channels of elimination, making sure that those are optimized and supporting the health and vitality so that toxins aren't building up in your system. So that's the whole first part of the definition. And I'd love to hear if there's any new distinctions or things that you thought of, maybe being one with nature, being in harmony with the rhythms of nature. There's also a whole subcategory that talks about circadian science and literally living in harmony with the rhythms of the sun. As a woman with your hormonal cycle, living in the rhythms with the moon, and then living in the rhythms of the seasons throughout the year, because even your food cravings, you might notice change from summer to winter. So things to consider, and this all falls into the category of harmony, living in a dynamic balance with all of these aspects of nature. The second part of the definition, prasanna. Prasannat mindriya manaha swasta ityabhidiyate. Prasanna is a beautiful Sanskrit word. This is where the definition of health according to Ayurveda gets really juicy, because prasanna means bliss. Did any of you have in some of the words that you thought about, definition of health, did bliss make it to your list? For most of us, it doesn't, and that's okay, because we often think of health in terms of how can I be out of illness, or how can I not be experiencing symptoms. You go to the doctor for a checkup and they're like, everything looks fine, but you're like, but something feels off. Like, I was in debilitating pain and I went to the doctor and they're like, oh, we ruled out everything. We don't know what that is. And it's like, well, there's got to be something more subtle here. And I never would have imagined that the second part of the definition was at play. So, prasanna. Prasanna, bliss in your soul, atma. Prasanna, atma, indriya, manaha. Bliss in your soul. Are you following your true path? Are you spending your time doing the things that bring you most alive? Or at some part of your journey, have you stopped believing in yourself, or stopped believing in your gift? Or did your parents tell you when you were young, you can't make a living doing that, so don't do that, do something else? And have you disowned a part of your soul, right? A part of your heart, a part of your true deepest desire? So that will impact health negatively. On the contrary, following your bliss, you experiencing bliss and joy on the level of your soul, on the level of your mind, these are all indicators of bountiful health, vibrant health, radiant health, energy, and aliveness. Bliss in your 5 senses. So I mentioned before, everything you see, taste, touch, smell, hear, these are all feeding your body. And so are you spending your time scrolling, looking at things? Are you spending your time not seeing beauty? Like, are you spending your time like in the same place all the time, right? On the contrary, are you deliberately filling your senses with bliss, with food, looking at nature, looking at beautiful artwork? Whatever that is for you, staring out at the sparkling ocean under the sun, whatever that is for you, this is sensory feeding of the body. Bliss in your senses. Bliss in your mind. So prasanna, manaha refers to your mind. Now, many of us experience, if you're human, you experience the mind as a very dark, negative place. It's the thoughts of the mind that create suffering. It's the thoughts in your mind that make you believe you're not worthy, you're not enough, that hold you back, that cause resistance to going after the thing that you most desire, that make you feel isolated and separated. I want you to know that those feelings and those thoughts are only thoughts and feelings, that they're not true, and that your subconscious mind was programmed in the first 7 years of your life. And during those first 7 years, everything that you witnessed in your environment formed the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind is vastly responsible for your physical body's experience. And it's beyond the first 7 years of life. It can be imprinted at any point in your life. But those are the most important developmental stage where your subconscious mind is actually formed. And so if there were any unresolved traumas, hurts, pains, energetic fear, things like that were imprinted into your subconscious during the early stages of life, or that have even throughout your life at any point, this is going to impact the health of the mind, the health of the meaning that you make of the things around you in the world. And so bliss in your mind, this aspect of the definition just refers to you creating a healthy relationship with your mind, because without a healthy relationship with your mind, you can't have a healthy body. The two are interconnected. And in the same way, if you haven't dove into healing past wounds, resentments, forgiving, the pains of the past, they're going to impact your health as well. And that kind of brings us into the final word, which is svasta. Svasta is a word that means, sva means self in Sanskrit. Self, know thyself. Someone who is firmly established in the truth of who they are, then they get to experience the bliss of their senses. They get to experience the bliss in their mind. They get to have all of these harmonies in their physiology. So svasta is actually the most important word in this definition, and it refers to knowing thyself. So know thyself, be in an inner self-inquiry around your thoughts, feelings, emotions, around the nature of reality, your true self, your faith, your spiritual connection. And all of these have a huge impact on your health. And I truly believe that these mental, emotional, spiritual aspects of health are missing in a lot of the holistic health and wellness conversations. And so I hope that this definition and these ideas have supported you to redefine and expand your idea of health and vitality so that you can take your power back and not rely only on external advice, conflicting information, right? Because the practitioners, the doctors, the practitioners, the health professionals, as well as the things that you read and study to try to regain your health, these are all signposts on your journey. But you are the driver. You are in the driver's seat. And when I say you, I mean you and the higher you. You and life as a whole are directing the journey. And you get to pick and choose, and you get to make the turns. You're not telling the GPS where to go. You're saying, this is where I want to go. This is what health and vitality mean to me. This is what we are going to experience together. And then you get to move through all the layers and get the information at the little signposts as you make your various twists and turns throughout your health journey. So may your journey be empowered. May you remember the love and intelligence that exists within each and every one of your cells. And if you would like more information about the Enlightened Body System, you can go to my website, alicialyndiaz.com, and click Work With Me. There'll be some questions you can fill out to help you get clear on your journey. Those will come directly to me, and we can book a one-on-one call to see if the Enlightened Body System is for you. You'll get more information on that, and also the gut reset. So if you go to my website, alicialyndiaz.com, there's a wonderful resource. If you click gut reset, that'll take you through a training all around the first step to health and vitality, and we cover all aspects of what we just discussed today. So sending you so much love. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.